अर्जुन उवाच प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव क्षेत्रं क्षेत्रज्ञमेव च एतद्वेदितुमिच्छामि ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च केशव। श्रीभगवान् उवाच इदं शरीरं कौन्तेय क्षेत्रमित्यभिधीयते एतद्यो वेत्ति तं प्राहुः क्षेत्रज्ञ iti tadvidah. Arjuna said, "O my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field, and the knower of the field, and of knowledge, and the object of knowledge." The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field. Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetresu bharata kshetra kshetrajñayor jnanam yattach jnanam matam mama." O sign of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion. Tatshetram yaccha yadrukcha yadvikari yatascha yat sachayo yat prabhavascha tatsamasenme shanu. Now please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what his influences are. ऋषिभिर् बहुधा गीतम् छन्दोभिर् विविधे पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव हेतुमतभिर् विनिश्च्यते. That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is specially presented in Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect. Mahabhutanyahangkaro buddhiravyaktamev cha indriyani dasaikam cha pancachendriya gochara ichha dvesha sukham dukkham sanghataschetana dhrutiः एतच्छेत्रं समासेन सविकारमुदारितम्. The five great elements, false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses and the mind, the 5 sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms and convictions, all these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions. Amanitvam madhambitvam ahimsa chantir arjavam acharyopasanam saucham स्थैर्यमात्मा विनिग्रह. इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम् असक्तिः अनभिस्वङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिषु नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम् इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्याभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् आरतिर्जनसंसदि अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतच् ज्ञानम् इति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यदतोऽन्यथा humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home and the rest, even mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth, all these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. ज्ञेयं यत् तत् प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वामृतमश्नुते अनादिमत्परं ब्रह्म न सत्तन्न सदुच्यते. I shall now explain the knowable, knowing which you will taste the eternal. Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. सर्वतः पाणिपादं ततः सर्वतो शिशिरो मुखं सर्वतः श्रुतिमल्लोके सर्वमावृत्य तिष्ठति. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything. Sarvendriya gunabhasam, sarvendriya vivarjitam, asaktam sarvabhrutcheva, nirgunam gunabhoktra cha. The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all the modes of material nature. Bahirantascha bhutanam acharam charameva cha सूक्ष्मतत्त्वात् तद्विज्ञेयं दूरस्थं चान्तिके च तत्. The supreme truth exists outside and inside of all living beings, the moving and the non-moving. Because he is subtle, he is beyond the power of the material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. Avibhaktam cha bhutesu vibhaktamiva cha sthitam bhutabhartar tatachgneyam grashishnu prabhavishnu cha. Although the super soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devours and develops all. Jyotisaamapi taja jyotihi tamasah paramuchyate Jnanam gneyam jnanagamyam Radi sarvasya vishtitam. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge and He is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Iti kshetram tatha jnanam gneyam choktam samasatah madabhakta etad vignaya madabhavayopapadyate. Thus the field of activities, the body, knowledge and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Prakritim purusham chaiva vidyanadi ubhavapi vikaranscha gunanschaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavan. Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. Karya karan kartatve hetu prakritiruchyate purushah sukha dukkhanam bhoktratve heturuchyate. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. Purushah prakritistho hi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karan gun sangosya sadasadyoni janmasu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwara parmatmeti chapayukto dehesmin purusha para. Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the Supreme Proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the Super Soul. Ya evam vetti purusham prakritim cha guneh saha sarvatha vartamanopi nasa bhuyo bhijayate. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Dhyanenatmani pashyanti kechidatmanamatmana अन्ये सांख्येन योगेन कर्म योगेन च परे. Some perceive the super soul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working without fruitive desires. Anye tvevamajānantah श्रुतवानेभ्य उपासते तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणः. Again there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about Him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. यावत् संजायते किंचित् सत्त्वं स्थावरजङ्गमं क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञसंयोगात् तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभ. O chief of the Bharatas, know that whatever you see in existence, both the moving and the non-moving, is only a combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field. Samam sarvesu bhutesu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyantva vinashyantam yaha pashyati sapashyati. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. Samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram na hinastyatmanatmanam tato yati parangatim. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus, he approaches the transcendental destination. Prakrteva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvasah yaha pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. Yada bhuta prathaga bhavam ekastham nu pashyati tata eva cha vistaram brahma sampadyate tada. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. Anaditvan nirgunatvat paramayatmayam avyayah sarirasthopi kaunteya na karoti na lipyate. Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. Yatha sarvagatam sakshamyat akasham nopalipyate sarvatravasthito dehe tathatmanopalipyate. The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all-pervading. Similarly, the soul, situated in Brahman vision, does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. Yatha prakashayattekah krutasanam lokamimam ravih kshetram kshetri tatha krishnam prakashayati Bharata. O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. Kshetra kshetrajnayorevam antaram jnana chakshusa bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye viduryanti te param. Those who see with eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body, and can also understand the process of liberation from bondage in material nature, attain to the supreme goal.